GM one and all, welcome to our weekly All Hands for bCard for February 21st. And this is our weekly All Team Tactical, where we're going to be discussing what's going on around the organization, prioritizing our work, and eliminating blockers. So let's take a quick attendance here. Who do we got? Lynx, Blue Bear, Andy. So I'm switching back and forth. Blue Bear, Andy, and Arcusti, Jonathan Reynes. Arcusti. Jonathan Reynes, and Tom Winverse, NF Thinker. Tom Winverse, NF Thinker. Excuse me, sorry about that. And finally, we have Brett joining us as well. Brett Lindstrom. All right, let's get started. On the lag metric side, we have $82.33 transaction volume. So humble beginnings, but beginnings they are indeed. The fact that this is above zero still is blowing my mind a little bit. And our current aim is to get that to 1 million. So we have to go from 82 to 1 million. And for that, we have a lot of work to do. And those are kind of encoded in our lead metrics. So our lag metrics is what we're actually trying to achieve. And our lead metrics is what we think is going to move the needle on the lag metrics above. So in terms of new users, I noticed when I was looking at the new and returning users that honestly, they're not as good as we can get, and I will talk about that a little bit further, but we have 55 new users. These are just people who landed on our website, not people who actually signed up for a card or anything like that. So probably we need to count these as people who actually signed up. Progress on the generic card, and I think we kind of just briefly discussed this last week, but we probably will need to break down the work that is involved into getting this generic card out. But do you have like kind of an estimate of how far we are on this getting this generic card out?
A lot of it comes down to if I can actually keep Hasu working on it. She's very sporadic with how she is able to respond. So either that or we need to put a little bit more work into it and then send it back to her. At the same time, she is awaiting feedback. I didn't actually give her that feedback yesterday after we spoke that there will not be a chip. So that'll be my first thing that I need to do right now is probably message Hasu.
What would you say, like from 1 to 100, how far do you think we are?
From 1 to 100, I would say we are 70, maybe
70?
75.
Really? That's okay.
Is that a lot?
It feels like a lot because we still have to go through the transcard approval process and all that kind of stuff as well. But you know what? We can work and break this down a little bit later.
Okay, all right.
I would think we're like below 50 myself, but that's just me. Anyways, okay. We'll talk about it later. In terms of returning users, 36% returning users. Again, this should be based upon who has a card. I'm going to update our analytics this week to include that. And I noticed Drost sneak in. All right, let me add you in here, Drost. In the attendance. All right. And 0 new money in the multi-sig. We had a bunch of OP that we converted last week. So that's where we're looking at that. On the team-wide announcements, we do need to do our seasonal updates. We need to update the playbook. I'm going to work on this. Well, I'll probably work on it a little bit before ETH Denver. But it's not something that is as pressing right now as we have like a revenue model and we need to kind of optimize that. We have a new domain, getbcard.io. We are putting some work into moving everything from Bankless Card to bCard, so we're working on that. And I'm going to try to get payroll out soon, so make sure to submit in bCard governance for work that you've done. Literally anyone can put a proposal in bCard governance to get paid. And really the workstream leads, I want you guys to make sure that you are kind of working on behalf of your contributors. So when they actually get some output, go ahead and create a proposal for them in bCard governance. I know I've been kind of lax on this, but hopefully in the next little while I'm going to be actually looking at that and getting out a payroll. So yeah, look to do that. All right, next up, new member intros. I think Brett is our only new member. So do you want to unmute, Brett? Tell us about who you are, what brings you here, and what you would like to contribute, if anything.
Yeah. First off, thanks for having me, guys. I know I've met with a couple of you folks. I don't think that we've met, but met with Uranus and I think Dalexa and some other folks. So thank you for all the kind welcome in the chat and in person, face to face. That's been nice. One of the more welcoming DAOs that I've been a part of. So thanks again. Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I have a background in design, creative direction, UX within Web3. Actually, was a creative director at Citibank for a while until I got fired for being too involved in decentralized finance, which is ironic because now they're trying to tokenize everything, and I'm no longer there. So thought that's fun, and I also think it's rather applicable to what we're doing here because I actually worked on cards over there. So I thought I might be able to contribute a little bit there. I also have a background in branding. I was digital art director on the Super Bowl. I like to call it the world's most boring Super Bowl, the one where like 3 points were scored. So that's a fun little thing. I actually created the Rolling Loud brand, which is now the largest hip hop festival in the world. So anyway, I can go on and on about that stuff, but basically I have a background in design and branding at a very high level and also in startups, and have had some success in getting smaller things to kind of blow up. So when I heard you guys are kind of where you are with things, and especially with what happened, and there's a rebuild and rebrand, and there's kind of like some ambiguity around what's going on, I saw it as a huge opportunity to kind of come in and try to help out as much as I can, use some of that experience that I've got that I think is super relevant to what you guys are going through right now, and just try to help out. I've done some initial work on perhaps a rebrand for both the cards and the overall Bankless DAO, because it sounds like we are moving or probably moving towards a different name. But at the same time, I feel like maybe the ethos is still there, and we don't have to have it such a hard detachment, maybe from a visual identity standpoint, and kind of have to overhaul everything. So I'm here to help and to listen in and see how to get in where I fit in. So I appreciate you guys having me.
Nice. We appreciate you being here, Brett, and definitely, I guess, like brand and design work is something that we are, I would say, lacking a little bit right now. Our traditional brand and design person has been really busy with her day job lately, so definitely would appreciate some help on that front. So really glad to have you here. Next up, let's get in on the milestones. So our next raise, this is not actually what we're looking at right now. We're looking at 1 million in TX volume. So this is what we're trying to achieve right now. That number is honestly just kind of like a finger in the air number. It's just a goal to get us going. The really important thing is for us all to understand, if we create transaction volume, we create revenue for our organization, and that revenue will help us have a higher impact, whether it is allowing us to reach more users, paying people for their time and efforts, or other kinds of things. That's what we're looking at. More transaction volume means more revenue for our organization, and also it means more revenue for our partner organizations. All of these communities that we are trying to empower. This revenue gives them some ammo to increase their impact as well. So let's get the transaction volume up, and we're going to be achieving our mission and also helping our own sustainability. To that front, we have our milestones. We have launched the POC to the public. That's what we're aiming at right now. Alpha testing is completed. So our users have gone from onboarding to getting cards to adding funds and spending funds. So it's not perfect, but from what we've had, the feedback we've had so far, this flow does work, and we're going to be improving that flow, of course. But now that we know that it actually works, we're getting into beta testing, and this is where we're going to get in alpha testing. We're something like 0 to 10 users. Now we're going from like 10 to 50 users, and the hope is that most of these users will be able to use our functionality the way it is, and also for us to be able to kind of create a repeatable feedback flow with these users as well. The big feature in this phase for beta testing is going to be the claim or the reward functionality. So we don't have the Sorry, I got lost in it as I was trying to send the link out. We don't have the rewards in place right now, but we have a lot of the groundwork for it. So for our beta testers, we're going to be kind of testing this rewards flow, and for ourselves, because that rewards flow is going to be something that we want to make very, let's say, engageable, because this is our whole hypothesis, is that if we give these social token rewards, people will switch their spending to us. So it's really important functionality, and that's what we're really going to be working on in beta testing. When we get that right, we'll go from beta testing to production, and that is when we will have achieved this milestone. So let's move on. On the analytics side, as I kind of mentioned before, we need a better new and returning user count. Tom, I see that you did post some stuff from Privy, which I think makes sense, but Privy also doesn't have, it has users that logged in, but it doesn't have users that actually got the card. So I think that we need like some kind of view of our funnel in that. We really want to optimize for users who are getting cards. So yes, I'll definitely take a look at the Privy, but we need other things as well. And we also need attribution for campaigns. We're going to be running a campaign in ETH Denver. I think it's going to be like a smaller campaign, really to get beta testers on, kind of a white glove approach, but we need to get attribution for that and other kinds of things. This is all possible using our analytics, but we just need kind of like a repeatable process for this. Next up, our content funnel. Reynes, do you want to give an update on this?
Yeah, we are still working on the, well, it looks like we have created a community funnel, not a content funnel, the first one that we did by accident, because we had our target audience, the community leaders. And so I'm hoping to sync up with NF and Coffee altogether to finish that. Yeah, and regarding our content funnel, that is then next up. I'm probably just gonna copy the format, but adjust it to a different target audience.
Okay. Yeah, and so when we're talking about a funnel as well, we need to make sure that we have observability into that funnel. How many people are at each stage into the process as well. So we can use analytics for this in some regard. We can use like a CRM or something like this. But that's also part of the funnel as well, is that observability and reporting.
Yep, we talked to with the coffee grocer that we need to set up a CRM. Most definitely.
All right. So on the community funnel side, and I think I put generic card under this because I think that it is a big part of what you're working on right now to kind of unlock that community funnel. For those that don't know, our original plan was to kind of have a custom card for each community. And we kind of found out in producing our first two cards that that is really going to slow us down. It's going to be 4 months and $10,000 for us to kind of get a card that is seen as usable by community members. So to adjust for this, we now have two offerings. One is a generic card that we can get communities on in a matter of days, and they get this generic card, which is like our bankless card, but in the app, it will kind of show them their community, and they can earn community rewards in the app. And then finally, we have, let's say, a higher end offering, which is a custom plastic card for users, and this is going to, cost $10,000 and have a 4-month lead time. But yeah, just a small update on that. How's this going, NF Thinker? You are muted. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, sorry, I was having problems getting unmuted there. In terms of the card design specifically?
Yeah, or I mean, just like in terms of just getting that generic card out the door.
Yeah, so the biggest hang up was figuring out whether or not we had chips on the card physically, and now we know that we don't. So we have a card design that needs to be iterated up on, like we were saying. Brett had some really interesting ideas in terms of a rebrand. That comes at I would say, a very inopportune moment, because we do need to get a card design out the door ASAP. So we're definitely going to be leaning on the pre-existing brand guidelines, as it were. And if we were to decide, no, we want to go in a different brand direction, now would probably be the most opportune moment to do that, simply because we're going to have a generic card out there in the wild for at least 6 months, I would say. So time is of the essence if we wanted to have any changes done to the overall brand and design as it stands. Otherwise, we now know where everything goes. We have a general idea of the final layout of the card on the front. And it just comes down to iterations from Hasu. So as I said, I need to contact her and update her on the fact that we won't have a chip and get her to make the adjustments that I've already sent her before on her previous design. And that's pretty much there. And then, as you said, in terms of onboarding communities, I have done a little bit of work to the doc that Rainus had spun up before for communications, because that's going to be really one of the next steps is getting communities to understand now that they can onboard to our generic card and we can add their points to our system in a matter of, well, that's I would imagine a pretty quick add. I don't know the technicalities of that, but within a matter of days, certainly. So we can onboard communities pretty quickly, and as soon as we do that, we'll be able to scale our communities. And as you said, that's going to really come down to the claim flow of points. That's where people are going to be wanting to interact the most. So yeah, back to the card specifically. The easy answer is we could have a design done within a week, no problem. The harder answer is if we wanted to put some time and effort into actually enacting what might look like more of a rebrand now, then we would potentially be in a better position within 6 months to actually keep that card going for longer, maybe get more legs out of it and last a year or a year and a half, or however long running on that generic card design. So does that answer your question?
Yep, definitely. I think that it's really key for us to get this generic card out as quickly as possible, because it's also going to go into that kind of MDES queue for 4 months as well. So we really need to get it out as quickly as possible, because that tap to pay is kind of like a very important user requested feature. So yeah, I do want to spend time on our brand. Like, I don't want to quickly get out of brand. I think it's a really good opportunity for us to take some time and spend on it. And if we end up replacing the generic card art with another card art, I'd rather not do it under the gun. I'd rather do it on our timeline. I always like to set our pace.
Yeah, I agree with that. It would be perfectly feasible to get a 6-month card design out the door using
Exactly.
what we have, and then refresh it in a little bit down the line. So in terms of the I forgot what I was going to say now. Okay, yeah. So
I think so another thing that I wanted to mention for the community funnel is that I know that you have probably like a list of communities who've said that they're interested. Certainly they're going to be asking today at Seed Club, so have that list ready, and certainly that's going to be a list that we want to speak about at ETH Denver. So yeah.
Yep. And I do know what I was going to say. This has been a bit of I would like to call it a bone of contention from the beginning. When we started working with TransCard, there has always been this ambiguity to what the card would actually look like and do. I have 5+ credit or debit cards in my wallet, and they all pretty much look and function exactly the same. They have a physical chip on them that are contactless. And so I was almost always working on the assumption that our cards would look the same and feel the same and do the same things. They won't. Out of the gate, even the generic card will not have that physical chip on it, like we mentioned. It also will not be a contactless card. What this is going to enable for us is a contactless card that lives inside your phone. So Apple Pay, Google Pay, yes, that's what the MDES enables for us. But the card is actually very similar to what exists now, which is not an all singing, all dancing card. It's like a million miles away from a custom NFT card, which is on our list and on our roadmap of things that we really want to produce. But this is essentially the most basic card that you can get, really. There's no contact list, no chip, and that's what we also need to bear in mind. We might be in a different position within 6 months to actually start producing or to start producing the sort of more polished, high-end looking cards at that time.
Yeah, the way that we need to look at it right now, I think, is just that it is really a proof of concept. There are some communities who it's not going to work for because, they're higher end communities, or, they have like a different kind of brand than what we have. Ours is really scrappy, community focused. So we really are going to have to lean into the communities that we can actually service. And for those that we can't service, chances are 6 months or a year from now, we will be able to service them, right? So look at it from that perspective. We have product market fit for a smaller market, hopefully. We can't prove that yet, but the idea through this proof of concept is that we will prove it. So that's what we need to do with our communities. In terms of raising 200K, again, this number is kind of arbitrary. It's just kind of like a way for us to keep going on the raising front. Seed Club interview is today. Last time we tried to get into the Seed Club Accelerator. Essentially, it happened as a bunch of well-funded companies were looking for more capital, and so their last consumer crypto cohort ended up being a bunch of funded companies, and we didn't quite make the cut. We didn't have a proof of concept ready. Now we have a proof of concept ready. We have some high-end communities ready to go on. We may be exactly at the right moment to get into this accelerator. So we will try to figure it out. Today we have our meet, and hopefully we will be accepted. We'll see. We have deployed our new brand. We updated our carrier and cards with a new URL. It takes a 10 business day turnaround for this. So so 2 weeks from yesterday, essentially, is when we will have this new carrier. They will all point to getbcard.io rather than banklesscard.xyz. So that is something that we're working on in the background. Let's get into our task perspective. Over here, World Needs Communities. Naomi decided to take this one up. So she's going to be working on that. She did say that she's not going to have a ton of time in last week. We'll see if she gets some time in the coming weeks. On the role salary side, yes, I did spend 10 hours. Rainus, did you spend at least 5 hours last week?
Yep.
And NF Thinker?
Yes, I did.
And Tom?
Yes, indeed.
And I will ask Coffee Crusher sometime this week when her power is back on. On the beta app side, this is new. Basically, I closed the alpha app because I think we've achieved what we needed to. This success criteria, we need to get 50 users on the app. We're going to gather feedback and update the UI UX. We're going to get an SUS score. That is a system usability score. So this is kind of an end-to-end system score, which I think is like between 1 and 100. Higher is better. And if you get above, I think something like 74, you're in the top 10% of consumer products. So we're going to be aiming to get into that top 10% because our whole purpose at bCard, or bCard rather, is to bridge the UX gap between Web3 and the real world. So we really want our UX to be top tier. We also want to ship the Claim Rewards feature and get a repeatable way to gather feedback from the beta crew. So I'll be working on this week. And yeah, you can expect updates on that. ETH Denver, this is something I wanted to talk about during our discussion this week. What should we be doing at ETH Denver? So I'm going to leave that up here, and we can fill that in a little bit later. So on the milestone side, I'm going to leave them up here. We just kind of talked about them, but getting into our what have we done? On the Making Bank appearance, we have promoted and shipped our audiograms. So are there other things we want to do with this, Rainus, before we close this task?
Mostly important was to post it on social medias. I have to check if it's on YouTube as well. I haven't checked YouTube in a while, but I think Winners had the video. Let me check, but yeah, if it's posted, it's all good.
Okay. And do we have? Okay, great. I will remove this from the all team projects, and we'll put it in the accounting inbox. It's already there, and we will compensate contributors for that one. On the alpha app side, yes, we completed the alpha app, so I will mark this as complete. Announce Prop House and change our org emails. These are we're kind of let's say blocked on the non-announced prop house until we go to production. We're going to change our org emails. This is kind of, there's some things going on in the background, but in general, our org emails are changed. It's really just changing those connected emails for different SA software as a service providers. All right, our beta app is up here. I'm going to put our February patron update to the top of the list and this direct cast for patrons up the list. I was supposed to send these out last week and I didn't do it, so I'm going to try to get them out this week. Generic bCard is, I would say, let's say even more important than that. We're going to put at the top of the list. That generic bCard is quite important. March 15th for the Panama yearly filing. Art Christie, do you have any updates on this one?
So I confirm I have access to view the Mercury bank account, and I'm kind of working on reconciling everything for the reporting it on a 12/31 as of date.
All right. Thank you for that update. Update brand graphical assets. How's this going, Reynes?
Yeah, Jason is working on updating our Figma. I want to connect him with Brett as well, so they could jump in that too. But currently, yeah, the task is just to update with the new name, everything in our Figma document, and then create an email banner that we can currently use, and other small banners and assets on social media that we're currently doing. But we started this before Brett joined, so I'm thinking that we create a little, maybe in the communications call we could talk about this tomorrow, about our current mini rebranding, and to lay out the timeline, what things we do now and what things we do later, that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll
Awesome.
set the topic for tomorrow.
Are you able to get that email banner out like this week that I can send it with the new email? Because I am planning on reporting that Bankless Card is now bCard to our patrons.
Yeah, Jason's here in the call. He probably hears this. Jason, if it's possible, you could send it this week.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jason.
I'll be able to get it done this week.
Awesome. Great. Thanks a lot. Email banner to be completed this week. All right. Thanks a lot, Jason. Anything else on that, Reynes?
Nope. I guess we gotta start the process. We have some. I think we have a fresh view, and then we can do some very nice.
All right. Off-ramp, more funds from the multi-sig. Sorry, did someone unmute? Did someone else have something to say?
Oh yeah. I was just saying, if you wanted to set up a group chat, Reynes, between the three of us, we could start that whenever.
Potentially, probably I'll add links and NFTinker as well, so because they need to definitely see what's going on.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. I believe this off-ramp, more funds from the multi-sig NFTinker is done. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, this is something that's going to be ongoing. I did adjust your notes earlier in Notion. One of the milestones of getting new money into the multi-sig. We did receive 1,880 OPX, which is going to be streaming. We'll receive the full 21,000 over 3 months. So this week it has been 1,880 new into the multi-sig. And last week after our weekly meeting, we completed the transfer of funds to Mercury, which was around $8,000, which we sent to Mercury. I also have a meeting today with Brian from, I want to say Unblock, not Unblock. Unlimit. Yes, from Unlimit, and we're going to discuss things like potential user flow solution. User card load flow solution, and also a solution for us. So KYC solutions for our cardholders and KYB solution for bCard Foundation or / bCard LLC. So that will be happening later today.
Nice. We have tested and sent money on.
And shout out to Little Bro Joe for setting up that meeting.
Nice. So I'm going to close that other task, and I'm going to create a new task for you on getting a new on-ramp provider. Make sense?
Okay. Yep.
I always like to bias to closed. All right. Right at getting started article. So Corrupted Pineapple made some updates. Basically, I'm going to get him onto the our support site. So he's going to have access to the support at bankiscart.xyz email, or rather the support at getbcard.io email. And he's going to start shipping stuff onto that support site. So I will just give him a note here. Corrupted. You should have an invite for Vault Warden, our shared password manager. When you accept and sign up, I can give you access to our support site. All right. Subscribe to our bi-monthly newsletter at Coffee Crusher. Any updates? Do you guys know, Reynes, if we're planning on sending a subscriber email soon?
Coffee said she's preparing an email last week, but she hasn't sent the guidelines to March. It's for all I know. March, correct me if I'm wrong if she has done that via DM, but I haven't seen it yet. But she has an email in preparation that I know of.
Great. Sounds good. POC launch campaign. Creation of content calendar on Notion. Any updates on this at Coffee Crusher? Let's see. All right.
I have a question regarding this. Now that the beta is live, can we start screaming on our social medias that people can go to app.getbcard.io?
Say that one more time.
So can we announce it publicly that people can sign up in the US?
I would rather we wait. I mean, we're kind of soft launch right now. I really just want to get those, I really want to get that 50 users through beta first.
Okay.
I think if you wanted, you could create a tally to get more beta testers. We do have beta testers. The one issue I have is I don't know if they're US based or not. So I basically have been looking at that list and seeing okay, these are people who I know are US based, and contacting them. But yeah, in the future as we're getting more people on.
We did have that. We did have that Berkelsdale survey to become beta testers. We can do another round. Say that the first ones have already signed up, and we're doing a second beta tester round.
You could do something for early access.
Yeah.
Do something on social for us, right? If you want early access, make a meme.
I was thinking only email subscribers.
Yeah. So in the email that's going to go out pretty soon this week, you could also say if you want early access, then send us a meme or something like that. Post us on your socials, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll get on this. I'll probably just tell Coffee Crusher to include that in an email and be some posts on Twitter.
Great. Thanks a lot. All right. And what about the video content? How's this going?
Yeah, as I said, today is the day that we figured this out. We started before the meeting, so we paused for the meeting to hear some updates, and now we will have heard updates, and we will try to make something finally that we can move on with. Yeah.
All right. Great. On the website side, how's this going?
I am drafting up currently the user journey, and I was trying to understand what features we need and whatnot. So I started from the other end. Our goal is to sign up people to the app, and I am building out the road to get there. And together with Jonathan, we will try to introduce that into the version 3 of the website.
Awesome.
It's not ready yet. I don't have anything that I'm ready to show, but hopefully this week I'll finish a draft, and I would love to hear your opinion as well on that.
All right. And next up, we have the NFTs for the email list and survey fillers. How's this going? You still having that issue with Manifold, NFThinker?
Yeah, I'm still currently in the same process with that. I don't know if I'm going to get anything done realistically between now and the time I get back from East Denver, because I don't have my home computer here with me. We do have the design, and yeah, it's pretty much ready to go as soon as I can get logged into Manifold from my personal wallet.
Okay, cool. Update cash flow for the POC. How's this going, Christy?
Working on finishing up the first iteration, and then I'll take it from there. I think we talked about this yesterday. One of the things is to try to figure out how to get the community impact to show on the report as well, since that's a big part of the value prop.
Right. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for that. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I'll try to get the first version done before then moving on to that task.
All right. Thanks, Christy. And then we have the Crypto Sapiens appearance. I think we still have to promote it. So we're going to release the audiogram we have for that. I think we'll do it either late this week or early next week. And we can go from there. All right. Nothing else. Anything else that we're working on that's not on this list? And, I completely forgot to add what I shipped last week. But yeah, here's my favorite part of the meeting. What did we ship in the last week? And of course, I forgot.
But actually, unmute earlier there when you said anything else that we're working on. There is some of the communications work coming through Transcendence. Drost was able to get, as that's the first thing that we added, which was shipped, was Drost got some audio laid over their video track. So we now have a video of the card coming in through Times Square, hanging from the helicopter, and it sounds awesome, looks great. The link is there. So yeah, that's the other thing that we're working on alongside communications is the Transcendence campaign. They're now moving on to the bunny with the bull and the noggles. As probably everybody knows, mostly everybody knows here in this call, we had trouble getting footage from the Wall Street bull. So we don't have, it will not be an AR video, but I think they're just going to do an animated video of the bunny coming in and dropping the noggles on the bull. And so yeah, that Transcendence campaign is really the other thing that I wanted to add there.
Okay, I don't see task tracking this, so it's definitely something that we're working on. Transcendence. I can never spell it. Transcendence. Not dance. Dense has offered to create some visual assets videos for us. Okay, and I can attach this to NFThinker. I'm also going to put it into the Communication Weekly. So we can talk about it there as well. And yeah, we will leave it in here. Thanks for that. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Let's move into what did we ship last week? AK was transferred Mercury bank account. Multisig did that. Drost added the audio for the Transcendence video. Nice. What did I do? So our Christy, typing the wrong spot. Our Christy looked at balance sheet and cash flow for nonprofits with links. And we also, links got interviews for 5 new testers today. So I'll have 5 user tests going on today. Also had a couple of testers run through app. So including Blue Bear with some great feedback there. Actually, Blue Bear gave us some great feedback. Just go ahead and call out what you have shipped.
Hey, Lynx. Last week I shipped some API server updates, some staging, flow process updates, and a big update was the handling transaction data types and user interface processing for production app.
Nice.
Oh, and rewards. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
And
just the user
rewards.
interface rewards. The rest are coming soon.
Links on FC, coffee on X. So we shipped some audiograms for Making Bank. We got Links gave access to our analytics to the people who need it. Started testing with attribution. What else we got? What else did we do? Anyone else got anything that they did? Well, we got a new domain set up. That's true. Links shipped the new domain for the app, app.getbcard.io. Oh no, maybe I did that last week. Anyways, whatever. We'll leave it there for now. Leave some time for a discussion. All right. Next up, unless there's anything else anyone wants to talk about, let's talk about what we want to get accomplished at ETH Denver. Make sense?
I want you guys to take a lot of pictures. That's it.
Okay, take a lot of pictures. Okay, Rainus requests a lot of pictures.
If you guys do video, that's also great, amazing, but at least pictures.
Or video. Okay. That makes sense. I guess like one of the things, I will set the scene a little bit. We're not quite ready to do a public launch of this. I mean, I guess like we could do a public launch, but we're asking, like we're playing with fire because like if we haven't done the kind of testing that I would want to do for a public launch, right? And I think as we do a public launch, people have higher expectations, and I just don't think we're ready. So I don't want to do a campaign where we're basically like everyone sign up for bCard, but we are going to be creating some cards which would allow us to get people on via a QR code. So what I really want to do is like look at this as kind of like a white glove beta list. Hey, we've been working on this thing. Yeah, it's shipped. It's ready to go. Do you want early access? It's more just like people who know us. It's not people we don't know. Maybe people that we make a connection with. That's kind of more my intent because the goal for me this round, I think, and you know, I could be wrong on this. This is just what I'm thinking in my head, is that we should be looking for patrons. We should be trying to connect with patrons. These are the people who are kind of at ETH Denver. These are the kind of people who understand what we're trying to accomplish with bCard. So I think like the two groups I'm really looking for are patrons and communities. Does that make sense, Anna Thinker?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So we could probably use this as a form of onboarding communities, yeah, I think that would be a great goal, 100%.
Okay. And so in this case, I think that those cards also work in that, the business cards that we're talking about with the attribution, because it will allow us to, for me and Anna Thinker, to just kind of give them out as we are meeting people in kind of that community/patron context. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So in terms of the card, what do we want the link to go to?
I sent you a link in the communication workstream channel.
So we're going to use that one specifically, yeah?
I think so. I still need to finish the test today, just to see if it actually attributed, because I couldn't see it in real time. But yeah, it's been a while since I had been using Google Analytics for attribution, but I mean, it can definitely do it. I just
I tried
haven't
that
done it
yesterday
recently.
for mobile, and I wasn't sure. Does it report the following day? It doesn't report in real time.
I mean, I'm not quite sure. That's why I had to finish the test today. But we'll see. We'll get attribution working.
Well, I
Yeah.
also
So it's
clicked
not.
on that link, so you should see at least one click.
Okay. Yeah. Me too.
If you
Okay,
guys
well, yeah, I
could,
can.
if you
Sorry,
guys could document the process of you explain like a few words when you're giving out the cards, just to film the action of giving them out, and film this text that, hey, yeah, this is a beta launch, we're looking for beta testers. Now if you could document that whole process, I can edit it in a few videos, and it would be very, it could be as simple as with a vertical iPhone, just filming the action of doing all of that.
Yeah, I think that's something that we could film. I meant to bring my small microphone. I forgot to do that, but yeah, we'll just run and gun it straight from an iPhone.
And Rainus, like this is specifically as we're getting a new beta tester on. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's like like the actions that you are doing with giving out the cards at the Denver. Just document that process with a vertical iPhone, and I will edit that together in a small video, and we have a very nice video to post, and stuff is happening. You know?
Yeah, we can use that for
we're-
tons of different content. If we're pushing this
yeah.
out on, if we're pushing this out on social media, like we want as much content as we possibly can. I totally hear you, Renus.
Okay.
Just simple as documenting. Once we get funded, me and Andy and March can come up with the whole crew, and we can do massive content creation. But for now, you can easily document it, and that still will give me a lot to work with.
All right. Okay. So I have to get into the mindset of documenting it. This
I
is
mean,
not my
NF
normal mindset.
I mean, NF knows how at conferences we do this stuff, so I think it will be no problem for you guys.
Okay. Another thing I was thinking for our existing patrons, meet them, start creating deeper relationships, float the idea of the patron DAO. So essentially, we floated the idea to a few patrons. We talked about this in the past of our patron funnel. People discover us on Farcaster, and then we have like a way for them to get involved via a kind of patron DAO treasury, which we were talking about potentially doing on something like Builder DAO, which essentially allows you to do a Nouns DAO style auction. This could work for, I mean, our existing patrons are like, yeah, that's cool. I think the real key for us is we need to figure out what is going to get them to actually contribute and what kind of mission we want to give them. Our patrons invested essentially in us, the team, like us as individuals and us together as a team, because we said we needed some cash to actually get a card out. We're going to be sending them an update soon, but in general, we want to get them more involved than just dropping an ETH down. We want them to be part of this in some bigger way. That's kind of like the promise of a DAO, is that anyone can get involved. The difficult part is how do we channel that energy into a direction that's actually useful for Bankless Card. So this is something that I want to discuss with some of our patrons and meeting them face to face. So we will start working on that, and also potentially discuss tokenomic models with them as well. Yeah, anything else, I guess, like in terms of ETH Denver, there's going to be a couple of us there. It's at least me and NF Thinker. I'm not sure if Coffee Crusher is going, actually. I don't think she is. But Sam Marin will also be there.
I thought, Drost,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
Drost is going to be there.
24th, and I'm there for the duration. I signed up for the How to DAO day. I also signed up for a separate event, which is called Edge City. Excuse me. And it's Gary Sheng and some other folks, kind of Gitcoin regen oriented, but it's parallel to ETH Denver, and so I will be attending part of that. they're doing a community day. I think it's Guild will be there on Thursday, along with some other network state type work. I mean, the two different things. I'm conflating different things. But anyway, the point is that I'm there for the duration. And so one question I had is I still have some cards left over, permissionless, the pink cards that are banklesscard.xyz. Can I still use those, or would you rather not use
I'd rather not send anyone to banklesscard.xyz.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess like this is kind of the last hurrah for Bankless Card. Like we can still kind of slightly identify ourselves as Bankless Card in ETH Denver, but after that, like we really should move away from the brand as quickly as we can after that because, just because they don't want us to use a brand. It's better for us to just to forge our own brand anyways. So the more we talk about Bankless Card, and send people to Bankless Card, the less we're forging our own brand.
Yep, got it. But as far as capturing some video, I am bringing a portable rig. I'll carry around in my backpack.
Amazing.
Kind of Gonzo style. I'm trying to capture a few things. Originally it was Jenga Jojo and me, and I know that you were familiar with this conversation. It was it's a little challenging right now to try and do what it was originally intended, and that was the Bankless DAO inspires kind of thing. Why did you join Bankless DAO kind of conversation? And that's kind of tough right now with everything that's going on. So I still want to do that, just getting the vibe and getting feedback from people on, hey, what's your journey been like? What you doing now? That kind of thing. And also maybe capture some stuff related to bCard. And so I have no idea how I'm going to do that. I do have some equipment, and I'll be there for the duration. So play it by ear. I'll capture what I can and try and structure a little bit of stuff. But knowing how much is going on and all the competing events and competing attention, and no one has a lot of time to sit aside, and we'll just try and capture a few seconds here and there, I think is the best we're going to be able to hope for.
All right. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate that. And I guess like
once in a while, there are opportunities to sit in corners. If you have the opportunity, there can be a quiet corner, and I'm sure you've had that happen too. I don't know what's worked better for you. I know trying to schedule stuff can be really challenging, getting people in the same spot at the same time. Versus
what I just realized is that so Meg Lister is over at Gitcoin, and I was kind of poking her because I wanted to like meet with her. I wonder if like we could do like an interview, like a bCard interview with her. I mean, I guess we could also do. I don't know if you guys are still doing your Bankless DAO interviews, and a Thinker and Rainus, but I think like the idea of positioning ourselves as like a public good card, a community-based card, and being aligned with Gitcoin, I think might be a good thing. So like it only came into my head because Joseph was like, oh, maybe we could get into a quiet corner. Is that something that would be interesting?
Absolutely. I think we should add optimism to that list as well. I'm more than happy to conduct interviews. I know Drost is as well. Drost, if you want to do some filming, we talked about doing this at Austin, and nothing really came to fruition. But if we had that was for global events, and that was for Bankless DAO, and it kind of feels like a lost cause when you do something like that for global events or Bankless DAO, because it goes onto our YouTube channel, but then what? There's no real actionable item. What are we trying to onboard people to Bankless DAO, or are we just trying to share what happened at events? I feel like we're going with more of a purpose by really trying to create content for bCard specifically. So yeah, I'd be happy to rally around, do some interviews, do that type of thing with you, Drost, and we can try and hit up some places. I had the opportunity to get into Edge City for $50, but I turned it down just because I wasn't really sure what I was going to be doing with my time. So unfortunately not going to make that, but that would have been a fun one to do. Like, it's all about community, network states, that type of thing. So that would have been nice to go to and do some interviews there. But yeah, we can try and get some stuff in on the other days, especially the How to DAO one, because there's going to be so many people there from Bankless DAO and other communities. There's going to be 8 coin DAO people there. There's going to be City DAO people there. Those are the types of communities that we have been speaking to and trying to forge relationships with. So yeah, all for the interviews for sure.
Great. I think How to DAO Day is probably going to be our best opportunity to get a concentrated collection of clips really easily or more easily. And that's on, I believe that's on the 28th. And yeah, so I'm there. I'm happy to do it, and I will avoid getting wasted too early in the day.
Okay. Yeah, it's a top tip, everybody. Don't get wasted
Especially if you're going to be
before
on camera, folks.
Do we know someone from Optimism and Thinker?
we know some people from Retro PGF, the organization, RPGF. I don't know what their handle on Twitter is. RPGF something or other. But I'd imagine that's from Griff. That comes from Griff Green. So if he or any of those people are there, they all know the optimism people. So I'm sure we can find somebody.
Will you guys do long form or short interviews?
What do you want, Rainus? I mean, shorts are probably the most impactful, I would imagine.
Yeah.
In terms of views, they're also a little bit more intensive for editing. If we need editing of shorts, if you need any help editing shorts, I highly recommend T. Thompson. You got a guy who can. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, but yeah, we can. Editing is no problem. I'm just wondering what format you guys, so I can prepare for that.
Yeah, I do think that the short forms are more shareable and honestly probably easier for us to potentially capture. I think the longer form stuff is going to be harder without like a dedicated space.
Yeah, and a pointer for the short form videos. What we have found out, opinions work best. Rarely people are interested in the persons themselves, like, oh, what do you do? I work with this project. That usually doesn't, that falls through. That's what we found out with global events. And what's interesting is opinions on the future of the industry, how things are going to work, what's active now, what's out, what was out yesterday, what's going to be out tomorrow. Like active things that are happening and opinions on things that are going is what we have found out work best.
All right, great. All right, we're a bit over time. I just wanted to, we can continue this discussion tomorrow at the communication meet. Just wanted to take a quick point to just say thank you to everyone for being here. I think that as we start rolling, we will start to get more interest in the things that we are doing. And of course, as a DAO, we want to encourage those people to get involved in that kind of thing. But let's not forget what is keeping us here together, why we're all here. Our purpose is to bridge the UX gap between Web3 and the real world, and our hypothesis is that we can do that through communities. And so ultimately, we're here to empower those communities right now. That is our mission, and so let's not forget that as we're going. Not that I think anyone's forgetting it, but on my behalf, I just want to say thank you for being part of this community with me. I think that what we have built already is extraordinary, and I think that what we can build together can be world-changing. So thank you very much for being part of that, and I am having lots of fun, and I hope that you guys are too. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Amazing. Thanks, Links. And great to see so many new people here this week. Yeah, it feels like we've had a lot of, we're getting a lot more traction. Really love it.
Things are happening, everything's going on. All right, thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
guys.